So, Kyle, how do you feel about Brady's performance thus far this season? And do you believe an early MVP award should be given to Tom Brady due to the dominance that he's had within his first 2 weeks of the season?
Yes, absolutely. He's been
Okay.
phenomenal. He's been living up to the GOAT status, and he just continues to marvel. At age 44, Kevin, 44,
Okay.
he has 9 touchdowns. And I just look, when I look at the Bucks overall, you know, I actually thought that this was a closer game than what the score actually indicated because Tampa's defense allowed Atlanta to come back into this game. Because if I remember correctly, the Bucks were up 28-10 in this game, and then Atlanta got on a pretty solid hot streak. They scored 15 unanswered points to make it a 3-point game at 28-25. And then Brady just marched right down the field, was able to hit up Chris Godwin on an out to the corner. That put him up 35-25. And then after that, they were able to get 2 pick sixes on back-to-back plays from Mike Edwards. And I really do think that those 2 pick sixes are noteworthy because even though that they were playing the Atlanta Falcons are not that good of a team. That Tampa defense needed a spark because they had given up almost 30 points to Dallas in week 1. They were on their way to possibly giving up 30 points against Atlanta, but I really do think that those 2 interceptions on back-to-back possessions that led to pick sixes are going to be big for this team moving forward. Just because by and large, Tampa's defense can be had, especially in the secondary. Their front seven is phenomenal. And that's why teams are really kind of making it an emphasis to pass on them because Tampa's defense can be had. But overall, like when I look at this team is still solid. And Brady, to me, he is the early MVP leader simply because the guy is just a machine. I mean, at 44 years old, he has 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions you could probably say are like the most inconsequential interceptions that he's had in his career because the first one wasn't his fault and the second one was on a Hail Mary. So, when I really look at it, it's like 9 touchdowns to like no interceptions in my mind. The 2 interceptions are just an unfortunate stat to have. He's not really responsible for those two. But his connection with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronkowski, and Antonio Brown, I mean, that's a four-headed monster when it comes to weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And Brady is just making it work. I mean, 2 more touchdowns to Gronk today. He threw a touchdown to Mike Evans. He threw 2 to Mike Evans, and then he
Two to
threw
Mike Evans.
and then he threw the last one to Chris Godwin. I mean, the team offensively is humming. I think this was like their 9th or 10th game in a row where they've put up 30 points. They put up damn near 50 in this game, even though the defense did get 2 touchdowns. But this team offensively is just humming. I love the direction of where this team is going. And Brady just, I think, has these guys in the mindset of we're here. We're going to try to repeat once again. And unless teams can get some sort of pressure against Brady consistently, this team is going to put up 30 plus for the foreseeable future. They do have a tough game against the LA Rams on the road in week 3, so that's going to be a good test for them. But going into week 3, Brady's been sensational. He's been the best quarterback, I think, as far as I'm concerned, in the NFL this year. You could make a case, Patrick Mahomes or possibly another quarterback, even possibly Derek Carr. Derek Carr's having a phenomenal start this year as well. But I think Brady's the leader. And the stats indicate that. 9 touchdowns to start off the year in 2 weeks. It's phenomenal.
Sadly, I have to agree. The man is playing at a caliber in which I don't really see a lot of quarterbacks doing. Again, it is only 2 weeks in, but 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks is absolutely ridiculous for someone his age. The defense is playing okay. They are the number one rated rush defense for a reason. So Atlanta not being able to get anything going on the ground and limiting them to 2.8 yards per carry is no surprise. But making Matt Ryan have to go 46 times and he completed 35 of them for 300 yards and having 3 interceptions. They did sack him and they held him to a 36.3 QBR is no short feat. But like Kyle said, before that fourth quarter roll happened, Atlanta was coming back and they were doing it very swiftly. They went on a 25-point swing from the second into the third quarter, but scored 0 in the fourth, while obviously Tampa scored 20. And that was the key right there. The 2 pick sixes were huge. That kind of, like Kyle said, sparked that defense to remind them that they do have to go out there and make plays as well. You can't solely rely on your pass rushers and your rush defense to take away from your ineptitude to take the ball away in the secondary. Front seven, everybody knows how good they are and how good they can be. But go forward, I stand by what I said about the Buccaneers being my pick for to be a Super Bowl favorite. They did play 2 teams with atrocious defenses in the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons, but their test will be next week, like Kyle said. So I am excited to see that. The biggest critique, as I always give the Bucs, is going to be their rushing. The rushing attack in the tandem of Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette has not been anything to brag about, at least in my opinion, within the first 2 games. They had 21 rushes for 82 yards, averaging 3.9 a carry, which isn't atrocious, but you usually want to have anything over 4 yards a carry. I know we're just short of it, but when you're up that much, you would hope that they would be able to run the football a lot more effectively. But from the Tom Brady perspective, what can you really say? He did everything he needed to do, put the ball on a dime, threw receivers open, made the right reads. Pretty much almost every completion he had was on the money. And the Bucs are rolling, man. They're following suit from what they did last year, and they're looking to repeat. And I don't really see many teams being able to stop them. And next week's game is a must-watch football because I believe that is a forecasting for an NFC championship matchup.